So I woke up this morning, the 29th of June, and found out I was trending on Twitter. I don't mind trending on Twitter, and my hope is always that I'll be trending for educational reasons and not for garbage. I'm not really sure why I'm trending, but I can only guess that part of it has to do with there was a tweet I posted a day or two ago speaking about how 40% of black men in South Africa are unemployed. 40% of black men are unemployed, and that 60% of those that are employed, that of the 60% that are employed, 90% of them earn under 8,000 Rand. The top 3% of black men earn about 15,000 Rand per month, the top 3%, and arguably the top 1% earns above 40,000 Rand. And these are the guys that all women want. So that tweet got 238,000 views, 2,215 likes, and I posted three more subtweets giving some of my sources of data. That's the one part. The other one, it could be another post I posted yesterday saying the confidentiality clause with salaries is how they underpay certain races and genders without having to be exposed. And this is something that is true, and anyone who disagrees with me doesn't know what they talk about. It got 125,000 views, 1,978 likes. That's fine. Then last night, I decided to post two tweets, of which I think these ones were problematic, I'd say. And then this morning I realized this is Colbert on Twitter decided to post a few video clips from a men's conference that was hosted eSmiles Osizweni Township in Newcastle, hosted by Utumelo and other guys at an amazing bakery there. Angazi noma iBoxer manje bekuyi-Pick n Pay yamlu. I think it's iBoxer now, I'm not sure. Around there's a really nice bakery. And these in those clips or in that men's conference, I was speaking in isiZulu, addressing men as aggressively and brutally as I can, because men, especially black men, need to be told truths, harsh truths about the reality of the world we're living in. So I'll start with the second one, which I posted late last night. It's about Pete Diddy ending his partnership with Ciroc. And it was a long piece that I wrote around so many black people who front and pretend to be owners of brands when they're actually just glorified ambassadors and influencers, and how it actually takes a really long time, if not a few generations, to build a proper manufacturing, distribution, company, and brand. And that if you see a black person who's built a great brand, manufacturing especially, within 3 to 5 years, there should be red flags there. But it was meant to be an educational tweet, and I think some people took it in that light, and that's great. Then there was this tweet where I said, look, this is a wild take. Okay, anyways, the tweet at Diddy's got 55,000 views. This tweet I'm about to read now has got 159,000 views. I start off by saying, wild take. So I'm already giving you a disclaimer that, look, what you're about to read is going to be hectic. Wild take, worth considering. Black men must get their daughters, sisters, partners to leave employment. Fewer black female workers means more vacancies for black male workers. Those black male workers can then earn money, take care of their families, and have dignity. I got attacked by so many people. And then I decided to do a subtweet and try and give clarity. I start off by laughing. Firstly, I declared that it's a wild take. Secondly, most people didn't even consider this, just spewed rhetoric based on the status quo. The better performing groups in South Africa, Jews and Muslims, have women who don't work formally. The idea would be to either have men take care of their homes themselves or tax the men highly so that women can get a grant or be able to collect needs without paying at stores. There are many women who would love to be housewives. There are many women struggling to balance motherhood, careers, and taking care of the home. The system has seemingly pushed women empowerment without empowering men first. Men that women expect to buy homes, maintain kids, pay lobolo, etc. If black men want to rebuild their homes, there are various ways to try to resolve this. This wild take is but one idea. The system, unfortunately, has been designed to cause fighting between black men and black women, and many black men are too scared to speak up. It's only the rich black men, minuscule as they are, that get to fully take care of their homes and liberate their women from the sometimes punishing working world. The point of the tweet was to foster a discussion, a conversation, and even offer other options and variations of the suggestion. But people are too emotional because mainstream media, feminism rhetoric, the feminization of men, and other propaganda tools force you to think in binary format instead of entertaining ideas and trying to approach them with an open mind. As long as we don't have these discussions, the elite will, and they'll get to dictate. The same way they broke up functional black families during colonization and apartheid and forced women to leave their homes to be maids, factory workers, while elite women, arguably white women, got to serve their families. Disagree, by all means, but do it with intelligent thought. And don't just be a blind zombie to propaganda shoved down your throat by the same people who oppress you and destroy your ancestors. For the record, I judge people on the animal they are within and not their sex, gender, or race. This was merely a suggestion for most black men and for the black women who wait eagerly for black men to find solutions to rebuilding the black family unit. And then I wrote cheers with a peace sign emoji. I think that's got a 9,256 views thus far. Men are under attack. Men are under attack. I maybe have touched on this mildly, but I want to raise it majorly. Men are under attack, especially black men. Especially black men. I am a penalist. My belief system as a penalist is to say I am a non-racialist and I am non-sexist. What that means, because some people don't seem to understand, being non-racialist and non-sexist means I do not judge people based on their race or based on their sex, biology, gender. It means I judge the person based on who they are and what they do. That does not mean to say that I disregard history. That does not mean to say I'm ignorant of racial issues. Does not mean I do not understand white privilege. I do not understand the oppression of black people and other races. I'm fully understanding of these things. I understand the woman empowerment cry. I understand the feminism movement. I understand them. But when I meet a woman, I do not say, oh, woman, therefore, done. Oh, white man, therefore, no. You get a fair chance with me as a panelist to be like, oh, you are a white man. I see race. I may be non-racialist, but I do see race. I do see sex and biology. I'm like, I see you are an Indian woman. What are you about? I'm not going to be like, oh, Indian woman, go make me curry. Oh, woman, that means you're not strong. No. I allow each person to show what animal they are to me. And other panelists need to learn the same. However, as a panelist, you are meant to be intelligent, which means you understand standards, generalizations out there. You understand that the majority of Zulu men behave a certain way. The majority of Chinese women behave a certain way. But when you meet the individual, you do not judge and say, oh, you Chinese woman. No. You say, let's hear what you're about because we understand that you may be different. That's what non-racialism and non-sexism is. Similarly, here in South Africa, I tell people all the time, I may be contributing to AfriForum. I may admire Urania. I may look up to certain white leaders, people like Chris Papas, Ian Cameron. That does not mean I do not acknowledge that most, in my opinion, white people in this country are racist. Not directly. Most of them aren't even aware that they are racist. It's just one of those things. It's like men. Men do not generally see that they are sexist, but they are. It is just one of those things. But that does not mean now every time you see a white man, you treat them a certain way, in my opinion. Men are under attack. And they are under attack by the elite, which is largely men. Black men need to start having hard conversations. Yes, you guys will listen to Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate, Dr. Jordan Peterson. Maybe you listen to a Joe Rogan and other people, David Goggins, these masculine men. Or these men who speak on behalf of masculine men, because masculinity has been demonized. But you need to speak to each other and speak about, guys, let's study history. Let's look at what's happened in this country and elsewhere. And let's figure out, is this thing serving us as men? Is it serving our women? And is it serving our children and our families and our communities? And currently, that's not the case. In this country of South Africa, black men were conquered, That's life, that's war, that's history. They were conquered and a lot of them were shafted off their land, especially legally under the apartheid regime. These men were then forced with a hard tax to go and work in the mines, the factories, the farms, etc. That's fine. Those men left their women and children behind. Some of them ended up getting other women pregnant, sleeping with other women in the cities they were working in and building new families. And the dysfunction of the black family started there. And your traditional leaders, the kings, the chiefs, your religious leaders, the pastors, the preachers, etc., these people have not been able to sit you guys down and number one, discuss history, and then number two, speak about what ideal would you like to see. I, as a man, would like to see an ideal where I live in a home with my woman, with my kids, and we are healthy. Whether I'm the head of the house or that becomes a discussion. From where we are now, rather from where we come from historically to where we are now, to where we want to be, what work do we need to do? And part of that work has to include, number one, the black man building himself through gym. So you're physical, make sure that black men are running, are lifting weights, are doing push-ups, are getting involved in what I love, rugby, physical contact sport, maybe a bit of boxing, mixed martial arts, so that black men physically can dominate and be strong. If you look at Nigerian men, if you look at white Afrikaans men in this country, you can see physically that these guys are physically, biologically alphas. And black South African men need to get back to that level. Number two, you need to work on your mind. That means education. Education is not schooling. Education is not schooling. Schooling has got a set curriculum which is meant to meet certain objectives and outcomes, mostly to equip young children to be ready for the working world. Schooling is not meant to build you into becoming the greatest black boy, black man that you can be. That is not the incentive behind school. Education will get you there. That means making sure that you read the right books. Frantz Fanon, Stephen Bantu Biko, Robert Sobukwe, and other such men. That means watching the right type of content, documentaries, movies that teach you how to be a responsible, good, strong, brave, intelligent man. And then spending time and being mentored by men who are well off, who have built businesses, who can work with their hands, who have functional families, etc., etc., etc. That's how you build yourself mentally. And then from there, you can add other things. Now we can start speaking about the money. Now we can start speaking about getting weapons. Now we can start speaking about our agenda and our strategy. When I look at white Jewish families in South Africa, they seem to have this thing on lock. Their men are good. They may not be physically superior, but their men are good, especially mentally, economically. They run functional homes. Their women are happy. Their women generally don't work formally. Some may, but generally they don't. Their work, and women have to work, boy. Their work after falling pregnant and having kids is looking after these kids. It's helping these kids with the homework. It's cleaning the home. It's making sure that everything kind of works. That's the white Jewish men. Then you look at the Indian, Arab, Muslim men in South Africa as well, where their women dress in these outfits where you only see their eyes or you only see the face, and they submit to their men, and their men go out and either have jobs or they have businesses, and the women again stay at home and work and whatever. If the black African man, not me, this is not about me, don't worry about me and my life. If the black African man, black South African man is like, I would like a similar, where I get to be the head of the house, I get to provide, my woman gets to be the head of the house physically because she's there, she's running the home, she's helping the kids, etc. And she's a support to me and I'm the funder to her. Then you need to copy that best practice and say, this is how we are going to do things. And that requires a conversation between men themselves. And that means rooting out bad habits like alcohol abuse, drug abuse, beating women who are victims of the same system that has oppressed you. Stop sleeping around with random girls out there. Maybe stop having, like me, having children with different women. Again, this is not about me. It's about black South African men and what they want and what they think they need to build a great family unit and a great community. And how do we sort these things out? And how do we gravitate towards the religions or towards the cultural beliefs that are going to fix us? And how do we get the type of leaders who are going to drive us in that direction? White Afrikaans people are very different in this country, but some of them are very old school and they have an old school way of thinking. A boer maak 'n plan, you roll up your sleeves, you're the man of the house, you an alpha, your boys must play rugby, you must be one that is slaughtering the animal, you must be one that are braai, you must be having a lekker brandewyn, you must be running the farm. Old school. there are many different white Afrikaners today that are modern. Some may be part of the LGBTQI plus community. Maybe some of the men are more feminine. Some of them believe in women being empowered, etc. But the old school white Afrikaans man, that is what he's decided, and he's built communities like that. Same with, like I say, some of the Muslim men. And the black South African men that want to live like that need to make these decisions, and they need to start following the type of leadership that speak to this. A lot of black women, I can applaud. What they've done with women empowerment, feminism, has been phenomenal. The number of amazing black female engineers, lawyers, doctors, accountants, businesswomen, innovators, leaders, politicians is amazing. But there's a big group of black women that do not want that life. There's a big group of black women that, even if they claim to want that life, are straddling the, I want to be there for my kids, I want to be there for my man, I want to be at home, but now I also have to go to work and I'm stressed. And the corporate environment is very masculine and arguably toxic. You're under a lot of pressure, you're getting shouted at, there's people throwing each other under the bus, etc. And some women don't want that life. They're like, ideally, I would like a man that provides. Ideally, I would like to take all my intellect, all my smarts, and plow them into my kids and plow them into helping my husband build whatever he's building for the benefit of us. Unfortunately, because of the systems of history, the black man and the black woman have been made to fight each other. That's why today you see black men blaming black women blaming black men. And when they're not blaming each other, then they're blaming other black Africans that are coming into South Africa to try and find a life for themselves. But they are very rarely blaming colonization, apartheid, the white imperialist systems that have created this environment. In this same environment, this same system, like I said, you've got Muslims, Jews, and some of these white Afrikaners who are not playing by that game. You're not seeing white Afrikaans women toy-toying in the streets about their men. You don't see Muslim women toy-toying in the streets about their men. You don't see Jewish women whining and say, oh, Jewish men, why do they get to own all the businesses? Why must I stay at home? You don't see that because they have found workable models that serve the family, the community, and allow them to thrive. Black men are under attack, and until black men have these conversations, until black men attack the system, until black men have honest conversations with their women and say, what do you want? As women, not you, my woman, but as women, what do you guys want and how can we meet you halfway? And part of that is going to include things like getting black men to build black businesses. Or if they're going to be working with white people, to be like, look, as much as I'm working with you, Van der Merwe or Johnson or whatever, I need to put my family first. So in whatever we're building here, just like you have a family, I have a family. I don't want to be leaving my family at 4 o'clock in the morning and getting home at 9 at night. I don't want to be working on the weekends and not watching my kids play sports. So let us find a workable model. Yes, you pay me a little bit. Yes, it's your business, but can we be building? Can we be building our nation together? Which is very important. And if that's not happening, then the black men need to build parallel systems. The taxi industry forces people to use their businesses. They operate in a ruthless way. And maybe black men need to have that conversation. How do we copy the taxi association model and do it in spaza shops and do it in grocery shops and do it in insurance businesses and banking and say, if you are a black person that lives in this area, you will use this bank. Otherwise, you are not allowed maybe to live in this area, especially in places like the townships, where you've got foreigners and white people and Indians and Chinese people coming to run businesses there. And the black men there run nothing except for maybe the taxis that are driving in and out there, so that you can uplift the black nation. Not to bash anyone else, but to uplift the black nation so that the black man, the black woman can get along, so that the black woman is safe, so that the black woman knows my man will provide. I know my man will be there for me. I know my man will support me. And in my tweet, as wild as it was, it's wild because in a modern way of living, we're so far from that. But I've just given you examples of groups that are currently still doing that today. If the black men are mentally not ready, you do things like set a black tax, a black men tax, and say black men, all their money will be taxed an extra 20%. And this 20% will ensure that women have homes. If she's a single mother for whatever reason, maybe her man passed away, it'll ensure that the women have money to take care of the kids where there's no man giving her money. Something like the child grant. It'll ensure that women get money to be able to go and clothe themselves and get toiletries. It'll allow women to have some decent kind of life. And the black men will get punished via tax so that black women can be uplifted. So that over time, the black men will say, you can remove this tax now because our homes seem to be getting along. Our women are now happier, healthier, our kids are thriving. More and more of us have the ability now to give our women the money without needing to be taxed. And then you're like, okay, we can remove the tax now because it seems the black family structure is now beginning to win. Those are incredibly important conversations that black men need to have with each other. And if you look at your king, and if you look at your chief, and if you look at your mfundisi, and if you look at your politician, and if you look at your business leaders, and they are not looking to create you to be a strong man in your home, if they are not looking to help you be a provider in your home, if they are not helping you to make sure that your woman is taken care of by you and your children, those are the type of leaders you should not be following. These leaders that are very happy to incentivize women to be single mothers, very happy to incentivize women to fight with men, very happy to be like, no, we'll hire women over men. They are destroying the family structure. And there needs to be a conversation about that. The default should not be, let us hire women. The default should be, let the men work, because work is hard and it's stressful. And because of testosterone, men are designed for that. Men are designed to handle stress. Men are designed to work long hours. Women are nurturers. Women are nurturers. They are meant to be in the home, not stressed as much. That's why even when you go to war, you're not sending women in the front line, because their estrogen and the way they are designed is not designed for them to go and manage men beating them up and killing them and shooting them. There are women with a high testosterone who love a good rumble. Those women should always be allowed to be there. That's why the women empowerment feminism agenda was so important. There were many women that needed to get a shot, a fair shot to play this game. But for the rest of the women, the default should not be go and work. The default should be, look, you will have a man, your father, your brother, your husband that will take care of you. And if not, we have a nice grant for you that'll ensure that as a woman, you get to be a woman and you get to choose if you want to go work formally. Otherwise, you work at home. Adolf Hitler, when he was industrializing Germany, made sure that women were taken out of work and made sure that these women were sent home. They were given grants, big grants, especially to fall pregnant, and they were taken care of. Yes, you remove the women so that the waiters are men, so that the nurses are men, so that those men can make money and then go and provide for their women. Bakoki lobolo, bakoki ntlawulo, buy weaves, do nails, whatever women expect men to do, and failing which those men get taxed. Let's say the man is single or he's not really doing the right thing with his woman. Tax that man and make sure that the women out there are benefiting. And the woman can say, thank you so much for this system. Some of us as sisters get to work because we want to work. We appreciate working and fighting and whatever's needed out there. But then for the rest of us, we appreciate that the men are getting taxed so that we can stay at home and fix and run the home and raise the children so that we can have a healthier society. This is a very important conversation for us to have. One of the comments was, oh, next thing you're going to be like Saudi Arabia and say that women must not drive cars. Guys, rich people do not drive themselves. They get driven. Privileged people get driven. People that have money get Ubered and bolted everywhere. The default for a woman should be, my lady, please relax. I will drive you. I'm a man. I will deal with road rage and checking if the robot is red or green. I will do the manual labor of driving. You can drive if you so wish. But the default should not be for a woman that I have no choice but to get a driving license because there is no man to drive me around. Men, anyway, I'm not talking now about criminals and the decayed society we have today. A man should see a woman walking on the road and be like, Siswam, can I please give you a lift? It should not be that a woman is walking and that as a man, when I'm driving, I cannot give you a lift for free. And you build a society where men protect and preserve and provide for women. This is not for me. This is not for penniless. I have a different way of living. This is for the general Black South African community that I can see is struggling. They are fighting with their women. They have issues with their homes, dysfunctional families. That's black men. For white men, so we can bunch colored men there, and then Indian men almost sit between black, colored, and white, but lean more towards white. For white men, you guys have got decades, centuries of privilege here. Acknowledge it. Don't have to be ashamed. Your forefathers were great fighters. They came and they dominated the African in Africa and in South Africa. These are the spoils of having dominant ancestors that came with superior weapons, superior strategy, built their British systems, which were then run by the Afrikaners, brought in their Roman Dutch law, their Christianity and their Christian schools. Today we all speak English, some speak Afrikaans. You guys deserve it. You earned it, your privilege. Yes, you exploited people. Yes, you killed people. But historically, those were like the rules of engagement. That's how Oshaka got to build a strong Zulu kingdom. The rules of engagement is we fight, some people die, some people bleed, and the winner gets to dominate and have the dominant culture. That's what we have. But if white South African men also want this country to win, they need work to do, because white South African men are under attack. I go on social media every day and I see white men having to fight for what does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be a woman? The transgender agenda. A lot of white men have an issue with that. They're like, look, be whatever you want to be. You're part of LGBTQI, the rainbow community. We're happy for you. Why must this stuff be taught in our children's schools? Why must you guys force our kids to abide by these things? We don't want that. So white men are feeling threatened in certain spaces, and their masculinity is being questioned as well. And the way that they are doing things, there are people, elite people, very dodgy, malicious people who are trying to infiltrate white women to be like, why does your man get to make the money? Why does he get to provide in the home? When are you white women going to rise? Remember that feminism was a white female movement. It wasn't a black female movement. By the time it came to Africa, I believe it came for malicious reasons. What should have come to Africa should have been the black woman saying, black man, let's get together and let's build together. Not as a black woman, I'm oppressed. The people that oppressed the black woman were the white people in power who built systems to take the black man out of the house, and then next thing to take the black woman out of the house, and then they made them fight together. Ooh, who will get hired, the black man or the black woman? You should not be fighting with the black man. But these were systems created by the colonizers and the apartheid government, etc. I'm saying for white men, this thing is coming for you as well, where you are having issues with your white women fighting white men on Twitter. Oh, are you such a misogynist? Oh, it's because of patriarchy. You're just a homophobe. And a white man's like, bro, I'm just trying to live my life. I'm trying to be a good partner to my woman. I'm trying to be a good dad to my kids. And you're attacking me. So white men also feel threatened in some way. And then they also get threatened or feel threatened by black, Indian, colored men. And I'm saying to you guys have an advantage. Use it. White South African men, because you guys have built the structures and you have the money more than the other races, it is up to you in certain aspects to lead. That means if you claim to be smarter than other races, if you claim to be more strategic, better business people, prove it. What does that mean? It means white South African men have a responsibility to take control of the economy, not at the expense of other races in South Africa, but at the expense of foreigners. White South African men should not sit idle while the Chinese are coming here, while the Americans are coming here, while the Europeans are coming here. And then white South African men sit back while other Africans, black, come into South Africa and they sit back. White South African men are meant to consolidate and say, no, this is ours. And this is meant to benefit us as white South African men and our black, colored, Indian brothers here. You guys are foreigners. You cannot come into the Springboks and then we're selecting you from New Zealand and we're selecting you from Japan and we're selecting you from France. I want to have my black brother on my side as a Springbok. I want to have my colored brother on my side as a Bafana Bafana player. I want to have my Indian South African brother on my side when I play for the Proteas. These are my people. You guys are not my people, and I will preserve and protect this because we came here and we built our privilege in South Africa over generations. Stop thinking you have an allegiance to Europe and America. Those guys care about their countries. They do not care about South Africa, including white South Africans. They will come and suck that money out. And when white men get sour, then they're like, oh, it's BEE. No, it's the ANC. Yes, you can blame BEE. Yes, you can blame the ANC. But a big person to blame is yourself. How have you failed to protect the South African economy from foreign intervention? Never mind blacks and Indians and colors that want to come in. And they should come in and play the game. And you should be the one that sets the terms of engagement and say, look, I want to work with you in farming. I want to work with you in mining. I want to work with you in manufacturing. You are my South African brother. I love you. And I want to build a strong country. But you guys are so comfortable to let Europeans, the Chinese, the Indians, the Americans, the Canadians to come in here and then come and take our mines, come and take our farms. And then like losers, you guys are blaming black people. We can see black men earn very little. Black men control very little. So the people are you. And I'm saying white men rise up to the challenge. protect the South African economy, and then after protecting it, you guys have to lead us in exporting. It is white South African men that should be exporting farming produce, the wine, farm produce, the manufacturing produce, the retail produce. It is white men that are meant to lead, and then in leading, make sure that we follow on. It was white men that built the Springboks. But if you guys empower us, the Magazole Mapimpis, the Lucanio Arms, the Siakolisis, look at what we can do together in winning World Cups. But we need you to lead us because you've got decades and centuries of experience in this capitalism, modern economy thing. We are ready to come and follow from you, some of us. For the rest of the guys that are angry, don't worry. We will give them jobs. Whether it's you, the white man, whether it is the Indian man, whether it is the colored man, whether it is us. If I'm working with you and you are Peter Steph Tutoy and I'm Siya Kolisi and we run businesses, we will create jobs. You are Johan Rupert, I'm Patrice Mutsipa. We'll create jobs for the rest. White, black, colored, Indian. It's okay. But you guys need to lead. It can't be that black people are threatening white privilege that has been built off. Yes, sirs. If you look at the civil wars in this country, if you look at what the British and the Afrikaners have achieved in this country, it's like you guys have dropped the ball. It's like you guys have gotten lazy. You're getting steamrolled by Indians, getting steamrolled by black people. You guys have like no pride. And the pride is not to whiteness. The pride is to say, look, I have an advantage. I'll give you a stupid example. You've got Kaizer Mtaung and Kaizer Chiefs. You've got Irvin Khoza and Orlando Pirates. Their sons are playing, or their grandsons are playing for these teams. And then out of nowhere, other guys from somewhere else are coming to infiltrate the team. Bro, your grandfather built this thing, the farm. Show that you have some kind of advantage. Lead us. Bring the other people in, but you must lead. It cannot be that you get dominated by people that come from other places. That means you've dropped the ball, and white South African men have dropped the ball in their own communities, in their own spaces. I mean, even in the schools, this wokeness agenda that has come from America, Black Lives Matter and those things, it's infiltrating South African schools, even the white schools. And the white South African men need to catch a wake up and say, yo, we're under attack. And you guys need to co-opt the Indian, colored, black men and say, guys, we are actually under attack. I love what the Muslim men are doing. They are building their own Islamic schools. And Islamic schools, they want to run them under the Quran. So when you come with whatever agenda that is anti the Quran, they'll say, no thanks. A lot of the Christian schools today are being infiltrated by agendas that are considered a sin in the Bible. And yet the Christian schools are like, no, we're liberal. You're dropping the ball. There are no black schools, unfortunately, because your Zulu king, Xhosa king, Venda kings, Bafokeng kings, they are not building indigenous schools. So you can say, no, in African customs, we don't believe in these things. So in these schools, whatever you're bringing, feminism, anti-polygamy, unfortunately in the school, we can't allow that because this is a cultural or a religious school. And unfortunately, our beliefs don't allow for that. White men need to put their hands up and say, black men, colored men, Indian men in South Africa, we are under attack. We have privilege. We have the money. We have the resources, but we need to work with you. We need to come together so that we can protect this nation against any agenda that is coming to destroy our families, coming to destroy our children, coming to destroy our women and have our women hate us. When we wake up every day and we go down to the mines and we mine and we go to the farms and we're on tractors and we're joining the army and we're willing to fight and kill to protect. And we're out there doing the best we can to provide for our women. But then our women are going to turn around and say, yeah, but you men, no, it's not us. There are agendas out there that are designed to come and destroy us when we should be working together. The white man, the white woman, the black man, the black woman, the Indian man, the Indian woman, the colored man, the colored woman should be working together. And then once they work together in our communities, the black, white, Indian, colored are meant to come together and say, guys, we're in trouble here. There is crime. How do we resolve that? There's potholes. How do we close them? There's load shedding. How do we resolve load shedding? On how do we go off grid? Guys, our children are being taught these things. Are we comfortable? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, then okay. Let's make sure that, let's say LGBTQI is being brought into schools in this way. If they're bringing in some wokeness from somewhere else, if we're bringing in atheism or non-religion in our schools, let's manage it in this way. If we're bringing globalization, let's do it in this way. But if we do not agree as a community, let's say, unfortunately, we do not agree. However, if you are different, if you are liberal, feminist, what, we will create a small space for you. You can have extramurals. You can have a center where you're like, look, for people that are interested in this ideology, this is where you can go find it. And those who want to feel like part of can go and join there. And as a community, we're like, but guys, if you have a gay son, there's a place they can go. We're not alienating you. We're just saying we're not going to teach this stuff in the schools. If you've got a child who wants to be a porn star, a child who wants to get tattoos everywhere, you're like, in our schools, we don't allow the tattoos. In our schools, we don't like the porn stuff. But there's a space. You can actually go join that club. They deal with those kind of things. Or you can go join that community. Our community doesn't allow it. And that's how you ensure that you create a strong family community structure. Men are under attack. And we see it with the Andrew Tates, and it becomes a fat laugh. Men are under attack. And there are women who have been infiltrated, and they don't realize that they're reading a script from TV, from radio, from social media, propaganda. Because if you watch something long enough, you end up being like, oh, it's starting to make sense. No, you're being programmed. And then you take that stuff and you take it home. Gender-based violence. We do not have gender-based violence in South Africa. Gender-based violence says this man beat up this woman because she is a woman. Therefore, the violence is based on her gender. That is not true. 4 times, men are killed 4 times more than women. Meaning that men actually hold themselves back from beating and killing women. I'm not saying they don't do it. I'm trying to say it is not gender-based. We have domestic violence that needs to be resolved. Some of it has to do with the fact that men feel emasculated. They're not earning well. They're fighting with their women. They're not seeing each other eye to eye. Maybe it's a lack of religion, a lack of culture, whatever the case may be. Maybe they need therapy and counseling. There is domestic violence that needs to be resolved. There is violence against women that we need to completely outroot. Whatever you want to call it. Oh, she was what? No, we do not hit women. And then we teach the women as well. You do not provoke men. You don't slap men and say, yeah, but I'm a woman. No, sissy, that's not how it works. We're not going to allow that type of behavior. But I'm trying to explain that now you've got GBV being brought into schools and on social media. And every time a woman is hit, oh, it's gender-based violence. Oh, it's gender-based violence. If a man gets stabbed, shot by a woman, oh, that's not GBV. You're like, there's an agenda here. And again, you listen to this stuff long enough, you start believing this might be true. And it's like, no. In our schools, we don't teach GBV. In our schools, what we teach is that violence is bad. A boy must not hit a girl must not hit a boy must not hit a boy, a girl must not hit a girl. If a boy sees another boy hitting a girl, he intervenes. If a girl sees something, she reports, she intervenes. We protect our women. We tell our boys, you don't fight with women. You don't argue with women, with the girls. You protect the girls. If you see the girl on the playground and there's a boy giving her problems, you get in, you're like, hey, boy, you know in the school we don't allow boys to upset girls. If you see a boy pulling a girl, you get in, you're like, what are you doing, bro? We don't allow this stuff to happen. That's not GBV. That's violence. We're saying we don't allow violence, especially if there's high testosterone and high estrogen. The testosterone will dominate the estrogen. But realistically, we normally see testosterone fights. Like the recent shootout where a member, I think a member of JMPD, I'm not sure. But there was a JMPD member and then a SAPS, South African Police Services member. And the one shot the other one after seemingly it looked like they were provoked because the other one had pulled their gun out. That's men against men, and that happens all the time. If you listen to a lot of the violence in the Cape Flats, a lot of the violence in townships, KwaMashu, Alex, Deep Sloot, it's mostly men on men. You want to tell me about GBV? We have a violence issue. Women catch a lot of violence because the man comes home, he's frustrated. Maybe he feels the woman is provoking him or whatever, and he hits. It is not because she is a woman. It is not gender-based. But these propagandas infiltrate our spaces and they become an issue, and we need to speak about them. We need to aggressively push buy local. We need to aggressively push the upliftment of South Africans. White South Africans, rich Indian South Africans, rich colored South Africans, rich black South Africans need to focus on pulling up the rest of the South African nation, largely the poor black masses, so that we can compete with Japan, so that we can compete with the USA, so that we can compete with Germany. Those countries are great because their population is hard at work. They are not focused on, oh, but you're from Texas, I'm from California, oh, but you're from this side of Germany, I'm from that side of Germany, oh, but I'm from Tokyo, you're from another part of Japan. They're like, look guys, we all have to hold hands and we all need to push. Springboks, Bafana, Proteas. Let's hold hands and push. And as long as the white man is fighting with the black man and the black man is fighting with the colored man and the Indian man is, we're not going to win as a nation. We are under attack. It is time for men to rise up. It is time for men to find their balls again It is time for men to gather and not fucking talk about bombs and booze and other bullshit, but talk about, guys, how do we refine our dignity? How do we build our bodies? How do we build our minds? How do we find our women? Our women are being suckers of systems. Do we switch off the TV? Do we switch off the radio? Do we tell our women to get off TikTok and Instagram and say, I'm trying to win? And I'm not going to win you if I only see you for 3 hours a day. And then for the other 21 hours, you're on TikTok listening to propaganda. You're on Twitter listening to propaganda. You're watching YouTube. You're watching reality TV. By the time I come to you in that 3 hours, all you're telling me is men are killing women. Men are so useless. South African men are so broke. I am trying, but I'm not fighting you. I'm now fighting a system that is programming you. Can we find each other? Can we switch off the gadgets? Can we take a walk? What are your dreams? What are your hopes? Do you know what my dreams and my hopes are? Is our family healthy? Are we hitting each other? No. Then why are we worried about people hitting each other on the other side of the world? You're bringing anger into the home where we have peace, where we are comfortable. And maybe we need to curate the things that we are watching and make sure that we are winning together, because it is about me and you as my woman and our children. How do we come together and my woman out there is like, I'm here for my man. And she's not being called, oh, you're a pick me, a patriarchy princess. You're like, the fuck out of here. I love my man. He takes care of me. I take care of him. When your kids out there, they're not like, my parents are so old school and they're so out of touch. No, those are my parents. I love them. They raise me. They take care of me. I get home and when they give me chores, I do them diligently because I know these people have my back. But as soon as the man walks out the house, he's being programmed to be angry at women and to feel some type of way about his kids. As soon as the woman walks out the door and she's on her phone, all of a sudden, ooh, look at what men are doing. As soon as your children are moving out, my parents don't understand. They're so lost. No, boy. Let's come back as a family unit and work together. Watch wholesome content. My Wife and Kids, Blackish, The Cosby Show. Wholesome shows which are family oriented. How do we celebrate the family where the man and the woman get along? You're like, this is amazing. And the children love their parents. This is amazing. And you foster that culture and you find other like-minded people who are like, we are about family. We are about the family unit. Not the Children's Act, which says, you must put the best interests of the children. No, it must be the best interest of the family unit. Women's rights. But we must consider the woman. No, consider the family. But men also need rights. No, consider the family. The man must take a step back before fighting his woman, saying, if I fight this woman, is it in the best interest of the family unit? Before the woman loses her cool and goes and tweets, this guy, is this in the best interest of the family unit? Not me, not him. Is this in the best? When you guys are fighting at a family court, yes, but the children. No, but what's in the best interest? What's in the best interest of the children is a family unit. This is not marriage. This is not, but Penal, you don't believe in marriage. It's not about me, like I said. It is, the guy could be living somewhere else. The woman could be living somewhere else. The kids could be with the woman or the man. But the decisions you make are saying, we want to make sure that we're okay. We decided to no longer be together, but we are civil. When I have an issue with my car, he comes and he sorts it out. When I know he's not feeling well, I took him a pot of soup. We make sure that our kids are healthy. Our parents are not together, but as a family, my father's healthy. My mother's healthy. We're healthy and we get along. My mom's found a new person. My dad's found a new person. We have step parents. We have step siblings. We have half siblings. But we are healthy. It's not necessarily that this can only work if the mom and the dad are in the house. No, we live in modern times. We need to be practical. But we need to be healthy and not fighting each other. But your dad. But your mom. My mom and my... We are under attack. Men are under attack. And you guys need to catch a wake up before it's too late. By the time you look up, your women are gone. Your children are gone. And you as men have been completely feminized. And you become completely weakened. And your weapons have been taken away from you. And the diet that you are fed has made you weak and sick. And you cannot even defend yourself. And you become something like a weak woman that needs to be defended by the systems out there which do not prioritize you, do not prioritize your woman, do not prioritize your children. They just want to turn you into zombies that they can exploit and use to retain their power, to retain their wealth, and to make sure that they dominate you and you can never be strong on your own. Remember that God is within you. The beginning and the end is within you. And it is up to you to be self-aware, to discover yourself, to rise to a higher level of intellect, and to realize that you are the God of your life. You are meant to be the starring of your movie, and you are meant to dominate in your spaces, in your family. Your woman needs you to protect her. Your woman needs you to provide for her. Your woman needs you to guide her. Your woman needs you to listen to her. Your woman needs you to move out the way at times where she has to lead. Your woman needs you to help her become the greatness she can be. And that's how we win. Black men, white men, Indian men, colored men, and maybe some of the other races of men we have in South Africa. I'm speaking from a South African perspective, but this applies continentally and globally. Men are under attack, and until you guys challenge these systems, build your own systems, protect your homes and your family units, you are going to watch your societies continue to be destroyed. Penal is God. Have a great day.